In recent days, Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies have plummeted aggressively. Take a look at how we've experienced a significant drop since the beginning of the week, representing approximately a 13% decrease in valuation. We see the same trend in Ethereum and the rest of the altcoins. I must tell you that we've been analyzing these aggressive drops with the Crypto Insight private community with the idea of seeking opportunities to buy during these aggressive downturns. Well, the market left us some great opportunities in Cardano, Solana, and Polkadot. Bitcoin, Ethereum. You can try buying now with a tight stop loss. You might expect further downward movement that tricks the Cardano defense zone and then also look for buying opportunities in Cardano. Another option would be to wait for a recovery, watching for an impulse that reclaims the zone and tests it. There, you dive in headfirst, all right? Let's focus on Solana for a moment. Here, we have the corrective pattern guideline, that Z, that wedge. It broke through and went to the level. What we're seeing here at the end is the impulse, the channel, the range, and the climactic action that breaks our structure, making the world believe we're headed for disaster. However, coincidentally, we have a defensive zone where the climactic action hits, a very interesting area to look for buying opportunities, similar to Cardano, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. In these areas, it can break you. You can look to buy again on the breakout. Do you want to work with greater security or wait for confirmation? Well, wait, whether it's testing the defensive zone or possible structural recoveries, which are also buyable. But here, be cautious. I see that we might be working on something like this, so perhaps I wouldn't buy here. However, scenarios 1, 2, and 3 are potential buying opportunities. Here's where institutional buying happens, and then look at how it's defended. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and up. Basically, they're buying here, so we're in a scenario where they open the floodgates for fear to pass, but it's actually a trap, recovery, and then they leave. Yes, DOT as well, just as I mentioned earlier, like Cardano and Solana. Polkadot is an option. Both now and if it drops to around $6, it's also a buy zone. However, I wouldn't buy much lower as things would be quite bleak by then, but all of this is buyable on recovery, on the test buyable. As you've just seen, altcoins have performed well in these trap scenarios. It's a shame that Bitcoin and Ethereum didn't offer us that buying opportunity as their bearish extension was greater than expected. Now, as you'll notice in this Bitcoin chart on its hourly time frame, we've changed the structure, updated it to align with the most recent events. Look, on one hand, we have this bearish channel and you can see its working angle here, which would explain why the price, seemingly inexplicably, has decided to extend and stop at that price level. Similarly, let's study how Ethereum, after working on an aggressive zeta that collapses, generating a correction where we valued this as a flat pattern, simplifying everything, we're seeing a bearish impulse being followed by a channel-like structure. Notice how Ethereum has gone to test the bottom of that channel, returning to Bitcoin and emphasizing the idea that we're in a range, which could be a full distribution process considering the market's macro context, the analysis of which you can see in the latest video on this channel. With the macro context, we have a potential distribution creek. Notice how we've now broken that structure with great violence. What does that lead us to think? As you know, after an aggressive creek breakout, it's very common to revisit it, even in the most catastrophic scenario. But mind you, I'm not saying we should expect this to happen exactly like that, but rather consider the concept of what happens when a creek is broken. The usual response is to test the guideline, the creek. In other words, also reflect that if we have a range here and evaluate its volume profile, identifying where the value area is, what we're seeing now is price excursion to move away from the value area. So, the next behavior it exhibits will be crucial in understanding the medium-term outlook for cryptocurrencies. I'll explain all of this in great detail now, but before that, welcome to Crypto Insight, your ethical and moral channel for cryptocurrency technical analysis. Here, we really know what we're talking about. We conduct advanced technical analysis that has been developed for over 12 years. We upload videos several times a week. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, let me know and leave a comment with your opinion. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click on the bell so you don't miss the next opportunity. Continuing with Bitcoin, when we see these excursions outside the value area, it can be interpreted as follows. First, in the hypothetical case that the price comes back and recovers the value area, this would be considered a macro trap, indicating that the price wants to spend even more time here, gathering and finding value. In other words, the price could continue to rise around here, even with this significant precedent, which could drive the price much higher, bullish. However, we don't know this yet. It's too early to see it clearly because we're still in the breakout scenario. That's why I emphasize it's crucial to wait, at least for a test, because whether we're heading to disaster or whether we're going to recover at some point, in both scenarios, we can look upwards in the short term, either for the test or to recover and turn around. However, as nice as all this sounds, we mustn't lose sight of the fact that we're coming from a Z, from a breakout, and all of this is a corrective pattern that may have already broken its creek. If it can't enter the value area, tries but fails, hey, we're working on a macro bearish channel, so the sentiment is bearish. It's crucial to understand and interpret that we're facing a creek breakout and the implications of entering or not entering the value area. There you have a thorough explanation. Pay attention to Ethereum on its hourly time frame, which in a macro analysis, as you can easily find in previous Crypto Insight videos, we know we have a Z that has impacted a very relevant structure, and what we see next is an impulse being followed in a channel-like form. Therefore, until proven otherwise, the medium and long-term market sentiment should be bearish. But bear in mind, we are not blind to the current market extreme within a macro structure. Here, at this price level of $3,026, we have identified a creek. We'll have to see what they want to do, how they want to play it. Do they want to break it now and go? Or do they want to spend more time, create a sense of trap before making a move to the upside? The message, at least the moral, is that we are at a market extreme where it might make sense, and that will be defined very well by Bitcoin, where it might make sense, which in the short term, as we will see now with altcoins, you will see how altcoins are already showing strong bullish trends during yesterday and today. But you must not lose track and never forget that we are in a bearish channel. We are talking about short-term movements and you already know what the sentiment is. When will that idea change? Well, really, that will be made very clear by the Bitcoin chart, as I've explained why, since if Bitcoin returns to the value area, what Ethereum will be doing is respecting a millennia-old defense zone to then only look up. And if you want to look very strongly up in Ethereum, you need them to forcefully break the idea in which smart money is selling and protecting their position. If they stop protecting it because you see a strong impulse here, then it can be positive. Remember that it's an hourly chart and we are looking at everything with a lot of perspective. And you must never lose perspective, as you are now looking at the Cardano chart and see how we are in a bullish channel, that is, until it was pierced, which leads us to think that we are facing a black swan, a very strong, aggressive and unexpected event that changes the rules of the game. That said, we see how the market is being tracked with a bearish impulse followed by a channel. That said, as you saw in the flashback a while ago, Cardano is at a market extreme that has come to confirm a defense zone, so it is normal to be positive in this quotation. Yes, for the short term, after so many days of suffering, everything so bearish, everything so bleak, it is normal to see this type of corrections. We will see how far they want to extend, undoubtedly giving great follow-up to the price level of $0.46, because here they either confirm the level or they make a micro trap to then continue falling, or they confirm the Crick's breakout with a test to at least go to the roof of this channel. Now, but you must bear in mind that we are facing the recent breakout of a black swan and we are in a macro bearish channel. What I mean is, if you want to be positive in the crypto ecosystem, you cannot be blindly positive, because honestly that makes no sense. There is no way to spin it. But you can be positive partially if you see that this trend line is broken with strength. And I say partially because these people tomorrow, if we are positive and everything grows, these people will want to have their say, and you won't have the sky won by any means, because no one tells you that it is simply a structural test to continue falling. That's why I'm telling you, if you want to be positive in the market, in altcoins there is a lot of work to be done, more than you think, and I've just explained it to you. Look then at the Solana chart, how everything seems like a big bullish party, where the succession of highs and lows was tremendously favorable for its price. Each high is higher than the previous high, and each low is higher than the previous low. In other words, until recently there was a very positive succession of highs and lows. But now look at how the movie changed when it reached this distribution process. From there, we started to have lower highs and lower lows. In other words, the dynamics that were previously very strong and bullish since the big institutions started to distribute. Look at how the succession of highs and lows has changed. And now we can say that we are in a bearish market. Don't ask me if this is the beginning of a bearish market, as you you asked me when we were talking about similar concepts when Bitcoin was at $68,000 back in 21, because it's hard to give that answer. Simply what is being tried to be conveyed is what is seen on the chart. And if we want to be positive and think that the halving will have its effect as it has 3 times in its history, we will have to start surpassing certain levels. And until we see that, it would not seem prudent to me to be positive in the medium and long term. In the end, one can think whatever they want about the halving, say, hey, I have enough with a statistical sample of 3 units. With that, I mortgage myself. I make a percentage X leveraged on my trusted exchange and blindly, as it cannot be otherwise. The halving will push us like a rocket to $140,000. Since life is not that easy and not that obvious, what we can do is study smart money, understand price structures, and comprehend what we must see on the screen to start being positive. In other words, for Solana, the first thing it has to do well. To start, this could be a defense zone that has been defending all this clear and evident distribution of smart money, which I mean. The price, of course, can go up no problem. The first step, if you want to be positive, is to break all this zone, surpass it with strength. Yes, as I told you before in the other quotation, here we will have to talk. There will be stronger words and discussions about the origin of the breakout. And here too, it will have to be fought if you want to be positive. Moral of the story, see if you still have to see things on the charts to be positive in the ecosystem. Yes, if you are already Nostradamus and you see everything so evident and it's not with a hidden meaning, congratulations. We support you from here and wish you all the best without a doubt. Well, that said, for the short term Solana, well, everything looks good. We have just generated a structural trap that has come to test and is recovering, right? For the short term, well, hey, we can be positive. We have to take into account that we are on a 4-hour time frame, and I have already explained to you what function this level, this structure can have, knowing where we come from. And if you like this advanced technical analysis, let me know in the comments. Also like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click on the bell icon so that YouTube notifies you of future posts. Good luck with your trading until next time.